Scorsese movie or something. I think that's what I think of.
Right.
Yeah.
I think of.
No, we just played at Spike Hill on Sunday night, which is right there in Williamsburg
On Bedford
Ave, which is a great joint, and they get a lot of that music in there as well.
Yeah, every time I've been there, I've been in for a gig and I got out, quick kind of thing. But we went in April as last year as tourists with the kids and learned a hard lesson about kids in New York City. It's like an 8 and 6 year old.
Oh yeah.
Everybody wanted to go to the Empire State Building. And,
Oh yeah.
can you imagine that waiting in line for?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
2 hours?
It takes. We just.
takes
It's funny. We
hours.
just recently, when we're in the city between gigs and stuff, we cater and cater bartend. And sometimes I bartend on the 80th floor of the Empire State Building, and I'd gotten this pass. Someone had an extra one, and it was to skip all the lines. And so my parents were in town for my birthday in December.
For you and 5 people.
And so I brought Annalise and my mom and dad and my brother and my cousin, and we all went up there, and the lines were ridiculous. I mean, there was like a 3-hour wait, and we were just
We got
scrolling
to the
past them
top
all.
in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
You can find ways to get up there faster. Next time you're in town, let us know. I might be able to get one of those passes for you.
I don't know, man. I
Up
think
there.
I think I'm totally like ruined from that experience. Being in line, I can't explain to you what it's like. It's being a parent and having 2 little kids with you, and then having
Yeah.
to wait like 2 hours in line. We actually walked from Rockefeller Center down to Empire State Building to go. So we, how
Yeah,
far that is.
and that didn't even not get any energy out of them. They were still
so-
rolling.
Well, so in your musical songwriting, we'll get into that after. But could you, maybe play something else for us now?
Sure.
Another song, another tune for us.
Is it away?
Sure. Let's do
Okay.
it. The song is called The Way.
This is Acoustic Songs Live from WNJR Studios, and you're listening to 2/3 Good.
There's a million different ways you could go. How do I know my way? Well, I just know. Or maybe I'm balancing on the thin rope of conviction that blurs the line between when you're sure and what's never been seen. But I'm sure it's a road, and it'll lead to somewhere. And in my mind it's as clear as the daylight. And I'm standing on this road, and right now that's all that matters. And it's not the answer, but the questions that make it right. You're standing on a swirl of circumstances that solidified through time against your will. And you hold an empty glass as you think of what you're left with. But the wind shifts as we pass, and from an empty cup I get my fill. I'm learning what I know, learning as I go, to reach the point of present and need nothing to show. In my own skin, lifting my own chin, there's a room for 2 in this place I'm in. And I'm sure it's a road, and it'll lead somewhere. So my dear, don't you wait before daylight, 'cause I'm driving down this road as long as you're right beside me. And it's not the answer, but the questions that make it right. Yeah, I'm sure it's a road, and it'll lead to somewhere. And in my mind it's as clear as the daylight. And I'm standing on this road, and right now that's all that matters. And it's not the answer, but the questions that make it right. Yeah, I'm sure it's a road, and it'll lead to somewhere. And in my mind it's as clear as the daylight. And I'm standing on this road, and right now that's all that matters. And it's not the answer, but the questions that make it right. The questions we ask will make
Great harmonies, guys. Man, it's like this. I'm telling you, I can't wait for you to hear this mix. It sounds really great.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah, it's one thing that we all coming from music. We were all music theater majors in college,
Oh, okay.
and so
So we're all about
harmony is
harmonies.
one of the things that I think was at a foundation before. For me, before I started trying to really play guitar, I've been playing for fun since in high school, but it's only been maybe 3 or 4 years that I really wanted to get into it. And the harmony is something I think we've all kind of always had, so we just love to throw it in whenever possible. Sometimes we have to actually pull back the harmony. No more harmony.
so how? Let me ask you this. Each one of you, how did you start songwriting then? If you're doing musical theater, obviously you're, you know, you're singing something written for you, but you know, when did you start writing your own tunes?
Dustin, you want to say?
I think it stemmed from just you know, we've been doing, like I said, musical theater, being a part of, you know, either musicals or singing in someone's band for so long that it finally just, you know, sometime or someday you just got inspired to put the pen down on a piece of paper and write something, or you picked your instrument up and started playing something of your own, or, you know, maybe it was a bad breakup, maybe it was your new love, maybe it was, you know, something that's going on in the world, and you just kind of had to, you couldn't just say something, you had to, you know, write it down and make a song, and then one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 songs and 4 songs, and then you get people together, and like we did, we just learned each other's music, and then it's, wow, we're on stage, we're gigging, here we go, we're touring the country, you know, spreading the love, so it's great. You know?
Totally.
Yeah, definitely. I probably wrote my first complete song when I was a senior in high school. I was part of a band. I think a lot of times having a deadline, like, or having a little bit of pressure makes you just completely finish a song, because all of us, I mean, we have like half songs, you know. I have a lot of those, but I was in this band and we were like, okay, we're going to write a song today. So somebody came up with, you know, some little licks, and I finally finished my lyrics, and it all came together like in that one day. It was so cool how that happened. Yeah.
What I mean, in influencing, what type of? Obviously, I would assume that you were influenced by bluegrass growing up.
Definitely like country music, bluegrass, you know, blues. I love like Bonnie Raitt, you know, John Prine.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
I mean, a lot of that
grew up
stuff
in Jersey.
now.
Is it like,
yeah.
Is it like you gotta like Springsteen?
Well,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
of course. And I, you know, I like that stuff, and I didn't have a lot of country and folk being played on the radio by any means growing up. Though South Jersey is definitely the country. People don't kind of realize how
Really?
oh yeah, it's
Like
very
Cape
much.
May is the.
Well, I'm a little north of there, but there's this whole area called the Pine Barrens, which I won't get into.
Oh,
but
I've
it's a
heard of that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a huge, and you know, it's very so there
National
is-
Preserve.
Yeah, there is that style of music. But for me, I first started learning the guitar and writing music kind of to have fun and do it at parties and, you know, play for girls. And I wrote my first songs that I wrote were always about breakups or falling in love, because that's so simple. And it was also a way to accompany myself, because I had been a vocalist since, you know, I grew up kind of like singing on the boardwalk in Atlantic City and doing stuff like that, very doo-wop-y.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, as a little kid in those groups you see out there, and step touching and all that, and so I always wanted to be able to accompany myself and not have to find someone else. That's kind of how I started playing guitar, and then after I met Annalise, I started getting more of this Appalachia music into my blood and loving it more and more, and you know, and I'd always grown up liking that music, the classic rock and the Beatles, and where those kind of things, I think they're influenced by that stuff a little bit as well, but. Once I met her, I kind of learned more about it, and these songs and what we have now, I would say, are mostly influenced out of the last 2 or 3 years, more so than the rest of my life, because it really has only been 2 or 3 years that I started making music something that I wanted to do outside of something that I just did on the side for fun or recreation. You know, it was a big thing for me was it got to the point where, as an actor, that I was so tired of having to constantly wait for someone else to give me work. And I found that in music, wow, I can go out there and work hard and actually get stuff for myself. You know, whereas in acting, you spend a lot of time, no matter how hard you work, waiting for someone else to give you an opportunity.